Natalie Portman, Sam Altman, Mother Teresa, Jack Ma, Jennifer Lopez, Lee Kuan Yew. What do these people have in common, other than having recognizable names and faces? The direct resource element is the single most powerful element in every one of their birth charts. It forms the season in their charts, and therefore is the foundation of their character and personality. This element is the source of their motivation, and it puts them on their chosen paths to success. So, what exactly is the direct resource element, and what role does it play in these people's success in their respective lives and careers? The term direct resource is translated from the words used to describe the imperial seal in ancient China. This seal was used by the emperor to endorse imperial edicts. The idea is that when the common people see a document stamped with the imperial seal, it is as if the emperor is right there in front of them. They would have to show the document the same kind of reverence as shown to the emperor himself, and obey the instructions contained within with absolute compliance. In the Western world, the equivalent would be a royal warrant or an executive order issued by the president. This is the level of prestige accorded to this direct resource element. If anything, it would be the single most respected and coveted element to have in anyone's birth chart. Going back to the analogy of the imperial seal, the person possessing it is protected by the emperor's power. How protective is this element if it is a prominent feature in your chart? Sam Altman has the direct resource element as the season in his birth chart, and thus it is the single most powerful element in him. In 2023, he was fired as CEO of OpenAI. In a span of days, hundreds of loyal employees advocated on his behalf and resulted in him coming back to the company. Many serious accusations of abuse and other criticisms were made against Mother Teresa and her charitable work in her lifetime. In the end, none of these came to fruition, and she was canonized as a saint. People still speak of her with respect. Jack Ma has been the target of numerous crackdowns by the Chinese government, and he has managed to emerge unscathed through it all. In fact, it can be rightly assumed that Jack has thrived through the crackdowns that would have caused lesser billionaires to disappear. Today, his wealth is intact and he continues to enjoy his life. Back in 1999, Jennifer Lopez was arrested at a nightclub after attempting to flee a shooting. A gun was found in the car she was in, and she was brought back to the station. Within an hour, all charges were dropped and she was released without incident. The first Prime Minister of Singapore, Lee Kuan Yew, was a young man during World War II. He narrowly escaped a mass execution by the Japanese occupiers. Throughout his life, there were rumors of reported assassination attempts on Lee from hostile foreign sources, although none were made public. The most prominent characteristic of the direct resource element is the love and concern for others. The capacity of love that a person has is very much determined by the energy level of this element in a person's birth chart. When the energy level of the direct resource is high, the love becomes the primary driving force behind the individual. It is all-encompassing love. It is selfless and self-sacrificing love for the greater good. The person prioritizes the greater good of society over his own well-being. He believes deeply in his soul that the world is beautiful and worthwhile to do everything in his power to make the world a better place. She, who possesses a high-energy, direct resource element, is not bothered by the discomfort of having to provide endlessly for the betterment of others. And as the law of karma states, you reap what you sow. She naturally has abundance in her life. An abundance of love, optimism, goodness, and resources. The more she gives, the more she receives. Let's take a look at the lives of the celebrities with strong levels of the direct resource element. Natalie Portman is a fervent activist for women's rights, children's rights, and frequently speaks up for the poor. She walks the talk, has participated in charitable campaigns in Africa, and has taken part in fundraising to alleviate poverty. Natalie is also a formidable woman with a clear, distinct sense of right and wrong. She has no fear in pointing out the injustices in her homeland of Israel, and also discussing the health problems faced by the prison population in Los Angeles. Sam Altman first rose to prominence during his time with Y Combinator, one of the biggest startup accelerators in the world that launched many impactful enterprises. In recent years, he is the chief executive of OpenAI, the creator of ChatGPT. Although there were many people who are suspicious of AI, we have to be discerning about the true motive of Sam Altman. Ultimately, his goal is to help propel humanity to a higher level through the use of AI. It is undeniable how much generative AI has progressed under Sam's leadership and created much-needed positive change around the world. Last year, Sam had a run-in with his board of directors and was fired as a result. But due to the high energy of his direct resource element, he was protected from the fallout and quickly reinstated as the chief. Sam's return was supported by the vast majority of the engineers and developers at OpenAI who believe in him and his vision. This incident alone is testament to how the direct resource keeps a person safe throughout one's lifetime. Jack May had a rough time growing up. Jack was frequently discriminated for his physical appearance. He tried to apply for waiter jobs and was always rejected as the restaurants could not accept his looks. Still, he was never disillusioned and harbored a deep intrinsic love for his country and society. Years passed, and he made it his mission to ensure that the businesses in China can easily sell their products all over the world. Thus, the e-commerce platform, Alibaba, was born. Although Jack was persecuted in recent years by the Chinese government that led to a breakup of his companies, he never lost his faith in humanity and continued to pursue charitable work in his homeland. Lee Kuan Yew could have had a nice life as a British-educated lawyer. However, he knew that his country could not rely on outsiders to defend them after witnessing the rapid collapse of the British colonial forces when the Japanese invaded in the Second World War. At great risk to his life, he worked together with other like-minded intellectuals towards freeing Singapore from the oppressive yoke of colonialism. In a few short decades, Lee transformed a tiny island filled with mudflats and swampy land into a modern metropolis. This achievement was driven by the intense love for his country and the unwavering desire for him to do right by his people. The direct resource is an incredible element that can do wonders in anyone's life. It represents a kind heart, love for other people, talent in learning and teaching, interest in artistic pursuits, a strong sense of justice, also the ability to take up positions of power and authority. Most importantly, the element attracts other good like-minded people to your cause and boosts your standing significantly. What happens when you encounter a direct resource decade or year? Obviously, it is better for someone with a low-energy daymaster, as the direct resource supplies energy to it. But usually it is a great period of time for everyone encountering it. The most crucial event is that it will be a period of learning something new. It can be in the form of taking formal classes or informal means of education, like a mentorship. Another event that is likely to happen is that you will be promoted to wield real power and influence. Remember the law of karma. You receive back into your life 1,000-fold of the energy you give out into the world. Direct resource is love. Spread love, you shall have positive outcomes and be kept safe.